And we're on camera, wherever we're on. We're on camera and on the radio. Sorry, I just realized I had some things disconnected. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Talkback. Sandra McQueen and Nathan Martin here to guide you through the next 2 hours. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I shared with you just a minute ago that I was unexpectedly affected by Doge in a way I didn't expect at all. I got an email from my wife asking me to outline 5 things I've done around the house in the last week. So, okay, that joke felt flatter the second time than it did the first time.
Did you come up with anything?
No, I actually read that on the internet. I didn't for that to me. No, I could come up with some things. I'm pretty helpful around the house. She'll let you know. But that is, I just thought that'd be a funny way to kick us off this morning, as we have a full day of guests, thankfully, and it'll be less of my babbling and you're trying to figure out what I'm saying.
No, that's absolutely. Well, we have coming up at 7:45 Wilbur Carmouche with the Avoyelles Parish Tourism Commission. Always fun to have him in the studio. I just love his enthusiasm and his passion for all things Avoyelles. And then at 8:05, we'll have Dr. Paul Corriel in the studio, Chancellor of LSUA. I saw in the news they have a couple new degree programs I'm sure he will brief us on, and LSUA basketball coming up in the tournament. So lots of great, exciting things to hear from him.
I can't wait to hear. He is a bubble of joy. He's fun to talk to. He and his wife are both huge LSUA fans and all things LSUA, not just basketball, everything. And they're just a breath of fresh air. So I enjoy it. When I saw him on the schedule, I was so excited that it was a day I got to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if you noticed in our show prep that today is a quiet day. So it says, turn down some of the noise in your life and enjoy the silence before you completely lose your hearing. And I was going to ask you, have you ever used like a Calm app or any of those that sort of try to help you center and take a moment of zen or quietness?
I have. There is one called Calm that I tried. I've used some white noise apps. My brain goes so much. I just can't. They don't seem to work for me, but I know a lot of people find great success in them. How about you?
Yeah, I've never used one. I just don't think I can stop the spinning. Maybe it would help. I don't know, but it's just I've never tried it. I can't. Trying to find 5 minutes to do that, or make 5 minutes in my day for that.
Well, the Calm app, I think it was. I don't remember if it was $7.99 a month or something like that. And that, I downloaded it and tried it. It's like, I'm not going to pay for this. Now maybe if I used it consistently, it would be good. But dead air is the enemy of radio people. So
that's right. Quiet's not good.
Doesn't work for us.
Does not. It does not. And then the other thing that caught my attention is today is the Pistol Patent Day. February 25th is Pistol Patent Day, commemorating this day in 1836 when Samuel Colt got a patent for his revolver design. It was the first practical handgun with a revolving cylinder. Before that, there was only single-shot handguns that had to be loaded with lead balls. So our gun enthusiasts, that was a revolutionary invention back in its day.
We have some listeners who are gun enthusiasts, and I'm sure they could let us know all about it. I was watching I have recently taken to watching reruns of a show called The Mentalist, which I aired quite some time ago, and I've been fascinated by it. It's just a neat, funny show. It's packaged for TV. Everything is solved in 45 minutes, all that good stuff. But there was one interesting one where they were talking about they couldn't find shell clippings, or not casings, the shell casings. Oh, he must have used a revolver. That was the line in the show I saw yesterday. And then you bring it up today, Samuel Colt's revolver was revolutionary because now you could kill 6 people instead of just 1.
I guess so. I thought about it that way. I wasn't thinking of it that way, just the evolution of
I only read
weapons.
The end. It said that's why murder took forever.
I guess when you had a shotgun, I guess so.
But you think about as a student, I loved reading about the Revolutionary War, and Britain. They had this, or Great Britain, England had this, chivalry about warfare, and men would stand in a line, and the front guys would kneel, and the guys behind them would stand, and Americans took more of the guerrilla warfare tactics, shooting from the trees and behind the fences and whatnot. And those single shot weapons, it really depended on how fast you could reload as to, that was the whole thing about, I remember the Alamo and all that whole thing of masses of people. It had to do with just really quantities of people, because the more people, the more shots versus, the automatic weapons of today. So Congratulations to those who are celebrating today, Pistol Patent Day. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you're right about just sort of when you go back to even the Civil War, I had the pleasure of touring Gettysburg and just sort of learning about, how close they were shooting. Yes. And you're right. It was just such a different time with those weapons. The
old saying, don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes, right? Yep. I went to Gettysburg a few years ago, and it certainly is a sacred experience.
It is an absolutely solemn, sacred is, if you ever get the chance to do that, it is well worth the effort to go out there to the national grounds, and it is really worth the time to do one of the tours that they take, 3 or 4 hours to give you a full, just sort of overview of every single day, the life of what was going on, the hospital, just every aspect of the battle is really, it is worth the time to go spend a full day out there.
It is. And here at the Alexandria National Cemetery on Shamrock Street in Pineville, they actually have a big historical marker with the entire text of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address on that marker. And it's amazing really how short that address was, but how impactful it was. And it captures the feeling of hopefulness yet dismay of what was going on in the country.
Yes, but that speech was sort of criticized as awful at the time it was given. It was not well received.
Yeah. Well, I've read other speeches that were 2 hours long. So I guess a little, 10-minute eulogy or 7-minute, however long it was, it may not have been well received. But did you have to memorize it as a child in school?
I don't know that I had to memorize that. And there are a lot of things I had to memorize. I didn't, but my daughter's class did. And I got to go to Gettysburg when they were doing their Washington trip. And one of the things we did is we did have lunch there in Gettysburg in an old inn. And they have a character actor who plays Abraham Lincoln that came in to recite the address. And it was so cool that all the kids stood up and recited it with him. And I thought that was so neat. It was just such a great moment.
That is cool. I wonder how
he was very, he loved it too.
That's really neat. 407 years ago, right? That's the way it starts. I don't have it all, but that's very poignant.
Yes. So that was kind of, I don't know if she can still recite it today, but I know that was a requirement to be eligible to go on the trip. So
another thing from the show prep, though, was chocolate covered nut day. And I don't know about anybody else. I love me some dark chocolate covered almonds. That's one of my favorites. Dark chocolate covered anything is really good.
Yeah, no, I tend to like the almonds. I'm not a huge fan of like peanut M&Ms.
No,
that's not my favorite. They're okay. That's not my favorite. But I do like the almonds, and but it's not really a chocolate covered nut, but I do like chocolate covered raisins.
It does remind me of a horrible joke that I heard Pastor tell years ago, and I've heard many variations of it, but the gentleman was visiting an elderly lady in her home or in the nursing home, wherever it was she was at, and it must have been in her home, and she stepped out to bring him a tea or coffee, and he noticed a little thing of peanuts, and so he couldn't help himself. He started eating the peanuts, and by the time she got back, he realized he'd eaten almost all of the peanuts, and he said to her, "Ma'am, I am so sorry. I'm embarrassed. I've eaten all your peanuts." She said, "That's okay. I just licked the chocolate off of them. I don't like the peanuts."
Oh, no. You're like, all right, bad joke day on Tuesday. I'm sorry they stick me with a preacher and a politician. I'm doing the best I can back here. I could turn his mic off, maybe. I don't know. I'm doing what I can, y'all. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I laughed. I don't know if anybody else did, but...
I don't think anybody else.
Come on, somebody call and tell me at least you chuckled a little bit.
Call in and save me. Oh, my God.
Save Sandra Day. That's what it is.
Oh, man. Well, you were talking about Doge at the beginning, and, it's getting very interesting. Lots of continued conversations about the layoffs and the reduction in workforce. And, last week I was kind of two minds, because I knew someone who had been doged, if you will, because she was in her first year of work for the Department of Transportation, and my heart broke for her. But then, we've had the news about the plant shuttering in Natchitoches Parish, and then, you see Starbucks laying off, Joann's Fabrics going bankrupt, and, layoffs and employees being downsized. All of us in the private sector face that, and I forget that, government employees shouldn't necessarily be sheltered from that either. As much as my heart breaks for my friend as she's trying to figure out what's next, this shouldn't have come, in hindsight, it's a big surprise when Donald Trump came in because he said he was going to reduce the size.
That's true.
And anytime you get a new CEO that's what's happening at Starbucks, he says, we've got to slash, what he sees as too much overhead on the corporate side of the house. He's got to improve things when it comes to service. And, that happens. Yeah. And it's a terrible thing for people to lose their jobs. But I just don't know that the federal employees should be immune. So as I've had time to reflect on it, I think I'm kind of leaning back towards being more in on DOGE. Although I really wish they had a more laser approach strategy to what they're doing. I feel like it's been a little haphazard and disruptive rather than strategic. So I wish they were focused there. But I also understand the speed. And when you're dealing with political situations, sometimes slow and steady is not how you win the race.
No, in a situation like this where they feel like there may be a cancer, it's almost like let's take the shotgun approach, and and then later we'll go back in with a rifle or a scalpel. And I'm not sure. Again, like you, it hurts when somebody loses a job. I mentioned yesterday I had lunch with 2 federal employees that had kind of welcomed the email because they had seen the fraud and abuse and waste around them. But at the same time, good people are going to be affected by this too. People who are doing their jobs will be affected by this. And so when you take that approach, it's going to have some impact. Hopefully it will level out in time. I have another friend who's a federal employee who's on their probationary period, but they actually were exempted because the job they do was considered one that was unnecessary. So it didn't actually affect every single department. It wasn't every single probationary partner across America. There were certain classifications that were not. So
yeah, and I think the other thing they're working on right now, which I really would like to understand more, is what are we really saving and doing right now? And they're trying to figure out some sort of dashboard to communicate that. But I don't know if you saw some of the coverage though, where they made mistakes in contracts that they said were canceled, and so they recorded them as $8 billion when they were $8 million, and so there's a whole lot of conversation now about is the savings at this point.
Well, and AP says nearly 40% of contracts canceled by DOGE are expected to produce no savings. That's their headline on apnews.com. Although AP News may not be the happiest.
But they're in a mood right now. So why don't we park that? We'll come back and talk about the AP right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Joann is going out of business. A group of lenders, along with the liquidation firm, have taken control of the retailer and plan to shut down all of the fabric and crafts chain stores. Joann entered bankruptcy with about 800 locations. The company now plans going out of business sales at all of them. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade has been shown on NBC for decades. Now the two have just extended their partnership. Macy's and NBC Universal signed a new 10-year rights deal for the parade and July 4th fireworks on NBC, Peacock, and Telemundo. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will celebrate its 100th anniversary next year. Futures were mixed this morning after a mostly lower close to start the week on Wall Street. The Dow was up 33 points, but the S&P 500 slid 30, and the Nasdaq tumbled 237 points yesterday, or 1.2%. Today, investors are watching for an update on housing prices. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talkline at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. 70 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. Now back to Talk.
And we're back. Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin, and let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I know that the cuts that he's doing are small in comparison to our massive budget, and my Democrat friends are quick to point that out to me. But I think the value that we're going to get from this is that we are changing a paradigm. You know, for the longest time, we just accepted this waste, fraud, and abuse. We would say, you know, there was a joke. You do something and you're not really concerned about the outcome. You say that's good enough for government work.
That's true.
You know, we used to say, oh, that's an easy job. It's like a government job. And we just accepted this waste. People who were less than ambitious in their choice of career sometimes chose these jobs because they were easier and because they had no oversight. Not all of them. I'm not trying to disparage every government worker, but I'm saying there are a lot of people that I know who had government jobs that wouldn't have made it in a competitive environment. And so I think the value, even though the number, you know, when you say how much is he taking off the bottom line, it may not be, you know, $6 trillion. It may not be half our debt. You know, it may not be a massive amount. The thinking, the thought, that's what's important. The idea that he's changing. He's making it verboten now to cheat the taxpayer. That's what I hope he finally accomplishes. Because, I mean, we have been a blank check to a lot of people and entities. And Bill Whittle made an excellent point the other day in his podcast. We were funding our own opponents. As these costs come to light, I don't know about you, but I think $17,000 a year for a subscription to Politico is outrageous. You know, and the subscription prices went up drastically when Joe Biden took office. You know, now we have access to these records and we can see this. So they were milking us. The left was milking the American taxpayer, and they didn't care anything about it. You know, the thing I called about the other day is throwing the gold bars off the Titanic. They don't think that they're in the same boat with us. It was different before. Now, I don't remember any time in our country where the people weren't divided in a group that call themselves the Americans and love America, and another group that hate America. And so I think what he's doing has great value. I hope he continues and builds up momentum. And it's causing people to reveal themselves, because the people who were yelling about it are the people who were benefiting from the waste, fraud, and abuse. That's just logic. And so I'm glad for what he's doing. I understand that it's not going to maybe change my tax that I'm having to pay drastically, but in the long run it will. And as he makes government more efficient, that will be better, and we will be more productive as a people, so we will be better able to handle our massive debt and the price for fielding a military strong enough to protect the world. And I think this is only good. I see only good coming from this. I'm sorry for the ones, Facebook is full of sob stories of people. Oh, now I'm going to lose my house. People, you know what you do. If y'all two got an email saying, list 5 things you did last week, y'all could do it in 2 seconds. and y'all could do 10 more real easily, because y'all are productive people. But people who have to scramble to do that, they knew in the back of their minds all along that they had an easy ride and that they were not having to produce what they should be producing for the amount of money they were making. So I'm all for this. I'm excited and giddy. I never thought I'd live to see this. And so, anyways, I say bravo. I think it's a blessing from God, and I pray that He blesses their efforts to change this country for at least 2 or 3 generations to come. Thanks for letting me speak my piece. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks. You do the same. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
I was thinking, since my mind works differently than other people's, I was thinking that if President Trump would just send all taxpayers a bill for $324,000, they're part of the national debt, which most of them voted for, then that's a win-win for everybody, because everybody keeps their jobs and people get their sex change operations and Politico stays in business. Don't you think that's a good idea?
It's an idea.
It's an idea, yeah. So how would you expect people to pay the bill?
Well, they can garnish their wages forever. But those people are getting those Social Security taxes. they're 100, 300 years old and stuff. Those are people who lived back in the 30s who passed away, but they're still paying their bill.
But
so they still owe it.
You did?
Past that.
I want to make sure I understood you. Did you say that they send this out to everybody because most of those people voted for this? Are you saying
absolutely?
That
absolutely voted for this? Absolutely. Most people voted for it, and except me, I didn't vote for it. But most people did vote for it.
When was that vote? I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Did you vote? Hey, did you? If you vote for any politician between now and the Civil War, then you voted for it.
So you haven't voted for anybody?
No.
Okay. When you said you didn't vote for it, so does that? I didn't know if that meant you don't vote or you chose the right.
I don't
candidate.
vote.
Okay.
I don't vote.
Okay.
And the thing is that I just think it's a great idea. And there's something else too. That since 2000, since December, the United States has imported 2,000 tons of gold.
Didn't know that.
Since December, and now they import one Bitcoin, not one. That's weird. The thing is, did you see that the North Koreans hacked the Bitcoin? I mean, the crypto people stole $1.5 billion worth of crypto through something called a cold wallet, which is supposed to be the most secure form of crypto to keep your crypto.
No, I didn't see that.
I did not see that either.
And this guy yesterday shot himself in the head on X because he lost his last $500 in crypto. It's live on X.
Wow.
And sure did. It's just the thing is that the crypto is a major scam. If I was everybody, Warren Buffett hates it. If I was everybody, I'd stay out of it.
Well, I am seeing the headline you're talking about. 4 days ago, several different news sources have reported that that they did steal. Hackers from North Korea stole $1.5 billion, and it says I wasn't aware of that, but I'm glad you turned us on to that story.
Something else too is that something that was really important I read about is that it just slipped my mind. But anyway, look, I was only kidding. I have voted.
Okay.
But I voted for Trump last time, but I voted for Trump because I thought he was going to be like another Andrew Jackson, but that's not how it turned out. He increased the debt by $8.5 trillion or something like that.
You're talking about the first time?
It was the first time. And I voted for it this time because we had no option.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just be careful. I like the idea about sending people a bill for $324,000 because the debt don't seem real to people. If they get that bill, it'll seem real.
No, I totally agree with you. The debt doesn't seem real to most people. You make a very, very good point there. And there needs to be some way to help us understand what these votes mean.
Yeah, well, and Alan, we've talked a lot about if we all had to just write our federal income tax check every year as opposed to it just being withheld and us not really paying all that much attention to it until tax time. Be a very different when you're self-employed, you got to write that check. You have a very different opinion and viewpoint of what they're doing.
I'm fortunate to live in a paid-off house, which means every December I get to take my check with the multiple digits on it to the courthouse and pay my taxes in one lump sum. Boy, it sure makes me think differently than just paying my note every month when it was just included in there. So it's a big significant difference in how that feels to you. Thank you for that great point.
Hey, there's something else too. I think, look, I don't know for sure. It's just what I think is that crypto was invented by Alan Greenspan to control inflation, to control people, get people's mind off gold. Because the United States is buying gold, they don't want to compete with other people about it. Because if gold price goes up, that means the dollar is going down. If the dollar goes down, everybody gets poor and all prices go up. So they put all their excess cash into something crazy like cryptocurrency, and that keeps them away from gold. That's what I think.
I missed our episode on crypto, so I'll have to look into that more. That's one I just don't know enough about to offer an opinion. And on top of that, I apologize, caller. We are past a break, but thank you for your time this morning. And Nathan and I will be back right after this.
KSYL.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
We got it going on here in Sinlaw.
The Arts Council of Central Louisiana brings Collage Dance Collective to Coughlin Saunders Friday evening, March 7th. Thrilled to inspiring performances from one of America's largest ballet companies. Get your tickets today.
Holy Savior Menard annual spring fundraiser, Shamrockin' Fest, comes to Randolph Riverfront Center Saturday the 15th. Enjoy a silent auction, live music, delicious food, and custom beverages, all benefiting Menard High School. Get details at hsmfest.com.
Who doesn't love moon pies? Let's celebrate as the town of Ball hosts the second annual Moon Pie Festival on Saturday, March 22nd. Bring the whole family for fun, food, music, contests, and more.
And don't miss Spring Herb Day, Arts and Crafts Festival, and Yard Sale, Saturday, April 5th. Historic Kent Plantation House hosts this annual Sinlaw favorite, packed full of plants, shopping, and food vendors. Get details at kenthouse.org.
Sinlaw Broadcasting, keeping Central Louisiana live and local.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
And we're back. Sorry, we were getting our guest ready here in the studio. Welcome back, Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin, and joining us from Avoyelles Parish is Wilbur Carmouche. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I drove in the fog
I was
this
going to
morning.
say, how was the drive?
It's like literally, figuratively, and mentally that I was in the fog this morning.
Oh, I'm glad you made it here safe. It was a little thick out there.
Absolutely. But people, please put on your light.
Yeah. Yes, please. That's excellent advice. Please put on your lights. It was really thick fog
It's
this
hard
morning.
to see a silver vehicle without lights in the fog.
Yes, I agree.
You didn't even see the green lights at the stop signals unless you were right up on top of it.
Exactly.
I mean, it was thick.
Exactly. That was a lot of front bumpers hitting the highway this morning when they were stopping abruptly.
That's how. Well, you have brought in a page of activities and things coming up in March.
I know. When
Avoyelles Parish.
We've had to put the print so small
I
that it's going
know.
to be hard to.
All right, we got this is tough. We need like that. We need the old people print, but that's all right. We'll get
we
through.
need old people glasses.
We do.
Like I have.
Well, dive in. I know with it being Mardi Gras, I suspect you've got a lot of great fun things this weekend.
Absolutely. We're starting it off with the weekend of March 1st. And we have, of course, a unique, and it's on the fringe of Avoyelles Parish. It's in Rapides, but they're our adopted community. And that's the community of Echo. And they're having a children's run, street dance, and gumbo on Saturday, March 1st. It starts at noon, and it is all starting at the campus of the St. Francis de Sales Echo Church, which is a wonderful opportunity. They had started this several years ago, took a little hiatus, and then they're bringing this back full force. In fact, they're calling it an extravaganza this year, and it's based on the youth, which is absolutely wonderful to keep our youth engaged in fun activities and keep the culture going of because everybody thinks of the flamboyant Mardi Gras, but then this is an opportunity for the children to learn another aspect and another side of Mardi Gras. So that's March 1st in Echo at noon. Also, a Mardi Gras pageant in Cottonport. So for all of these people that want to vie for Mardi Gras Queen, March 1st, you can email hopebharris01@gmail.com. I'm leaving all of that information here at the studios. So if anyone is interested, they can call here or go to our website, travelavoyelles.com. We have all of that information on there as well. Gator Grounds over in the Bay Hills is having their Mardi Gras and Chicken Run and Parade on March 1st. But this is for registered guests at the a water park, RV resort. So get those RVs ready, get those campers ready, make your reservation by going to gatorgrounds.org and be ready for the Mardi Gras festivities on that weekend of March 1st. We're dedicating a Jefferson Highway kiosk at the Bunkie Depot on March 6th at noon. And this is sort of a historic moment for Louisiana, for Revolves Parish, certainly, because we all know that the Jefferson Highway, we've talked about this before, starts in Canada and goes all the way to New Orleans. It was originally called the Palm to Pines Highway, established in 1916. It's the first international highway that was designated north-south in the U.S. So we're the association has checked into this, and they want to make Bunkie Depot an official welcome center and tourist information center for the Jefferson Highway right there in Bunkie. So we've put up a kiosk, and we're going to dedicate that and unveil it and put up the signage for this welcome center at the Bunkie Depot, meaning that you're going to be able to come to the Bunkie Depot. They're already home to the Bunkie Chamber of Commerce, city information, tourist center. There's a train car that's there. There's a Veterans Memorial there. So let's add one more thing to the Bunkie Depot site, and it's going to be an official Jefferson Highway welcome center.
Can you still drive the original highway route, or I'm sure there's probably been some adjustments, but are there people that still take sort of that journey?
Because we have been doing the conferences for several years now, and we have driven it from Bunkie, and we've driven all the way to Minnesota. Wow. This year, the conference is in McAlester, Oklahoma. In 2026, we're going to Joplin, Missouri. So that they move it up, and then we were in a Zoom call on Wednesday, and there was this gentleman that was, how it is, everybody Zooms. So he was like, oh, the backdrop was like, snow this deep, and he said it was like a minus 33 degrees, So they tell me, they say, how about you, Louisiana boy? What is it looking like in Louisiana? I moved my Zoom camera a little bit. I was in front of my fireplace wrapped up in a blanket. I said, it's 17 degrees here. I said, I don't see too much difference between 17 degrees in Louisiana and a minus 33 in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I said, I am cold.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, well, let's do this. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with the rest of what's happening right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by the clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Over 60 and retired? Making ends meet, especially at the supermarket, is tough. BenefitsCheckup.org is a free website that helps you pay for food, medicine, even utilities. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org.
Do you have a drug problem? Do you want to stop? Well, there are folks who can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK-970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
And we're back. Wilbur Carmouche with the Avoyelles Tourism Commission, joining Nathan and Sandra in the studio. So we were talking about March 6th will be the dedication of the Jefferson Highway kiosk in Bunkie, but there's a lot more going on in March.
Absolutely. And then, we started the Lenten season, so it's fish fry, fish fry, fish fry, basically on every corner every week. So we have one on March 5th at St. Francis de Sales Church in Echo, March 7th at St. Alphonsus Catholic Church in Hesmer, and 2 on March 14th, one at St. Paul's in Mansoura and the other one at St. Martin of Tours in Beldo. So fish on every corner for the Lenten season. Allons souper à Lourdes at Our Lady of Lourdes Church on March 15th. That's from 5 to 7. And that is a wonderful food tasting event where you're going to be able to come in, pay $15 to get in, and taste from 20 different food stations that are going to give you small portions. And we say small portions so that you can eat from 20 different stations. So please come, and it's a fundraiser for the church as well. And then to work off some of those calories, on March 15th at 8 a.m., the Evolves 4-H Clover Run at the LSU Ag Center in Mansura. For registration, 964-2245. Here's another dedication that is coming, and that was on March 20th at 1 p.m. Sandra, I don't know if you knew, but little Walter was born in Evolves Parish in Marksville. And, he became, then his family moved to Alexandria.
Right.
And he was a famous harmonicist that has passed away way too soon. But we're going to do a sign dedication. We found the birthplace of little Walter in Evolves Parish, in Marksville, in fact. And we're going to dedicate a sign to him for that. Lieutenant Governor's going to be there. Buddy Guy is coming for this celebration as well. So that's on March 20th, public invited, 1 p.m. Open mic night over at Bailey's on the Square, March 20th. Also, doors open at 6:30. Mic is turned on at 7. Never a charge, always a vibe. So come there for that as well. Then we have a Battle of the Paddle for Jambalaya Cook-Off at Rivière du Soleil, March 22nd, 8 to noon, 964-2198 for that information. And then here's a little twist on a wonderful workshop that we're having. We've had this workshop before at the Big Bend Museum, and the numbers were so much that it was almost to the point of being uncomfortable because of the size of the group. So they have moved it this year. They were proactive. They've moved it to the Bartlesville Volunteer Fire Department Training Facility, which, as we all know it, as the old Bartlesville High School. And that is going to be a Louisiana wild, edible, and medicinal plant workshop. So for those that like herbal medicines and all, and then Miranda lets you know about what it is that is in our area that you can use medicinally on the plant side, or what things that you can plant that would help you medicinally versus prescription medication. So that's
fascinating.
It is. It really is fascinating. She puts on a wonderful program. So that's March 22nd at 10 a.m. in Bartlesville, the old Bartlesville school that has really been, it's no longer the operating school, but the volunteer fire department has made a training facility out of the place, and there's plenty of space there. And you can Facebook Friends of the Sarto Old Iron Bridge, because that is the group that is putting on that on. It would have been at the museum, but the group is too large, so they're moving some of that there for that time. The Casey Council, number 1217, where the Call Out for Fishermen is having a bass tournament at the Spring Bayou Complex on March 29th. You can call Mr. Jordan at 359-2406. Registration starts at 4 a.m. Yes, I did say 4 a.m. I saw your eyes get big, Sandra. So, and I've been there for registration, and they are there, and it's a lot of fun, and weigh-in is around 2 o'clock. And then we round it out with an alligator feeding show at Paragon Hotel Atrium on March 29th, 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Whew.
Yes.
It's a busy March for you all. So let's make sure, if folks are interested in any of these events, we have the list at the studio, but how else can they find out?
Go to our website. That's the easiest place, www.travelofOils.com, or Facebook us at Travel of Oils, because we have it all out there for you.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate
this morning. We'll look forward to having you. Oh my gosh, I'm just like, wow, there's a lot going on in the oil.
There's a lot happening. And travelofoils.com is such a great website to get all the good information.
Absolutely. And if I may toot my own horn for a little while for our Tourist Commission, we went to the Louisiana Travel Association meeting last week, and Evolves Commission of Tourism was awarded an outstanding CVB award in their budget category. So we're happy about that for our volunteer board and for the staff. That seems like we're going in the right direction.
I think it's the accent.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think it's the accent.
Yeah, yours, not mine.
Oh my gosh, I can honestly say I am not surprised. I mean, every month you come in here.
Yes. So,
with a deep and wide list of a variety of activities.
absolutely. Sometimes I get tired just reading them.
No.
and visualizing all that comes after that we have to help out with, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm excited. And, when you mentioned little Walter, I was aware of his growing up in Alexandria. I did not know, though, that Marksville was the birthplace.
Absolutely. And that was a lot of little research that I found until I found the key person that could help me. And we went and it's in a band. I mean, there's no home place right now. It's in like a field, where the home place originally was. So we found two streets that had something in common. We're putting the sign on the corner of Benjamin and LaVege because his mother was a LaVege. So we made that connection, and that got accepted by the state as validating it enough to where he was born. So I think from where the sign is going to be, you can actually see the grove of trees where he was born.
That's wonderful. Oh, congratulations. Good luck with everything in March. We'll see you next month. And when Nathan and I come back, we'll be joined in the studio by Dr. Paul Corriel, Chancellor of LSU of Alexandria.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting. FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HP3, Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. More confusion for federal workers who received orders from Elon Musk to list their accomplishments by this past midnight or risk losing their jobs. Correspondent Natalie Brand says they've since been given different directions.
The Justice Department, the FBI, the State Department, the Pentagon, the Department of Energy, DHS, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence all told employees to hold off. Those agencies obviously dealing with law enforcement and national security.
The Republican-led House is aiming to vote as early as today on a budget resolution laying the groundwork for President Trump's priorities. CBS's Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
The House Rules Committee has advanced a key budget measure, setting up a potential vote on the House floor. The resolution encompasses many of President Trump's priorities, from border security and defense to energy and a tax cut extension.
The Pope was doing well enough today to hold a meeting on new saints at a hospital in Rome.
In St. Peter's Square last night, the first of what will be nightly vigils praying for the Pope's recovery. And with the morning, some hopeful news. 88-year-old Francis has resumed a light work schedule after a good night's sleep. But with double pneumonia and a complex lung condition, doctors warn the Pope isn't out of the woods yet. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Passengers on a Delta flight that had just taken off from Atlanta for Columbia, South Carolina, say they feel lucky to be alive after smoke filled the cabin.
The flight attendants came on and told us, breathe through your jackets or your shirts and just duck low, and that's what we did.
The plane returned to Hartsfield-Jackson International. Everyone slid down emergency chutes to safety. Comes a week after a Delta flight flipped as it landed on a snowy runway in Toronto. New search is underway for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The Boeing 777 with 239 people aboard vanished from radar 11 years ago next month. The last search, which covered 46,000 square miles of the Indian Ocean, was suspended in 2017. Now the Malaysian government has signed a contract with the firm Ocean Infinity to search again. The firm says new data analysis points to a new 5,800 square mile area of the southern Indian Ocean.
Beauty and the Beast's Mrs. Potts was onto something with her teetotaling.
All right, Chip, now that'll do. Slowly now. Don't spill.
New research from Northwestern University finds tea leaves naturally absorb heavy metals, filtering out harmful contaminants from the water like lead, cadmium, and arsenic. And it doesn't matter if you lose loose tea or bags. The longer you steep, the more metal the leaves remove. Dow futures up 99. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. Governor Landry will be in Natchitoches holding a roundtable with local leaders this afternoon amid the upcoming closure of the International Paper Mill.
One of Governor Landry's main objectives is to identify job prospects for the International Paper employees who will soon be out of work. Jonesboro Representative Jack McFarland, whose district includes Natchitoches, says they also want to attract companies to the city to fill the void. Otherwise, Natchitoches could face a devastating loss of sales tax dollars.
I don't think we'll feel the total complete result of that in April. I think as far as the property taxes and things, they'll be okay for this year.
The roundtable will take place at Northwestern State University. I'm Colleen Crane.
Congressman Clay Higgins says Iraq is purchasing an additional 88,000 metric tons of U.S. long grain milled rice. That brings the total tonnage amount to 220,000 metric tons. Higgins says a meeting with the Iraqi ambassador led to the increased partnership between the U.S. and Iraq. LRN.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Good morning. Widespread fog to start us out this morning. That'll burn off by about 8 or 9, and it looks like a nice day. Partly sunny skies to start out, and then becoming sunny in the afternoon. Afternoon highs near 71. Now tonight, that fog rolls in again after midnight. Otherwise, pretty much clear skies down to 45 for the overnight low. And then Wednesday, a nice day, sunshine, the high 73. From the Zenlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, that's your forecast. I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 44 degrees in Zenlaw.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And welcome back to Hour 2 of Talkback. Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin, and joining us in the studio this morning is Dr. Paul Corriel, the Chancellor of LSUA. Good morning.
Good morning. So glad to be here today.
So glad to have you with us. So lots of great things. I'm trying to figure out where to dive into, but probably first and foremost, congratulations are in order. There is a fantastic website that ranks universities and called niche.com, and I'll let you share the good news of where LSUA fell on the list.
About a week ago, niche.com, which is the website that most parents and students look at to choose a university, we were ranked the 4th best college in Louisiana. And that includes all the privates and the public institutions. So to be 4th and the highest ranking in the region really took our breath away, but it also speaks well to the hard work we've been doing across, all of our team at LSUA. And it kind of speaks well to why so many students are coming, because they do interview students and ask them, how was your experience? What did you think about LSU? What was the quality, LSUA? What was the quality of the education? And the feedback was significantly positive. So to be 4th ranked, I think the whole community really should celebrate that, because it helps us recruit students in quality and talent to the region. We're so excited about it. We did cross the 7,000 enrollment line last week. And we really think by the fall we're going to be knocking on the door of 8,000.
And when was your goal to get 5,000? What year were you saying you would have 5,000?
The end of this year, 2025.
Right. You were going to have 5,000 by the end of 2025.
That was what I was hoping. And when we made the goal,
it was audacious.
I was concerned that if we don't do it, what would people think?
Right.
And I'm thinking, thank God we've exceeded that immensely. And it's been a wonderful. And, people ask, what's your goal now? I hate to even set a goal now because we're growing so fast. But it's been exciting to see the ranking, to see the students responding. I know we talked a little bit before we started about the new degrees we're offering. We've been offering those as concentrations. Both of those, cybersecurity technology and disaster planning and response, have been offered, and they're very, very popular. So we went to our board Friday, in fact, the last week, and they unanimously approved those as becoming full-fledged degrees. So we'll be marketing those quite a bit. They're going to be very marketable for Louisiana.
Absolutely. So if disaster planning, is that what the degree is?
Planning and response.
Planning and response. So are those folks who would see careers at FEMA or working within state agencies on kind of like public administration type planning, or where would they go?
Yeah, parish governments, corporations have disaster planning and management experts that work to help their organization, their employees prepare for, and their company, or the parish government, cities. And it's a career that's really been advancing because we have so many hurricanes here and tornadoes and, extreme weather events. And also, other events, just, like pandemics or whatever it may be. So there's a large career opportunity for students in planning and responding to disasters in Louisiana and across the Gulf Coast.
Are you the only university offering that
There
degree
is one
program?
at University of New Orleans.
Okay.
So we'll be the only one north of I-10.
That's very impressive. And in fact, I think I need to make sure that information gets to the Louisiana Municipal Association and the Police Jury Association, because those are entities that are looking for people who have training in that area.
Right. We used to call it civil defense, but most parish governments have disaster planning and management offices or designated people that have that responsibility. And you got to plan evacuations. You got to plan for safety for your community and responding to, all spills or disasters that may hit. So it's very important that we prepare, and these degrees are going to help graduate students that can do that.
Now, are you building, how do you even recruit faculty and experts? And will we use a lot of adjunct, or will you be bringing them in full-time? I'm trying to think who would be in there teaching.
No, we have a faculty member that is an expert in that area. We're going to be hiring 2 more for that particular degree. On the cybersecurity, we already have a program, like I said, as a concentration. And most companies and businesses and governments have to have a cybersecurity program as well. These are high demand, well-paying careers, and we're pretty excited. And that's what we've been focusing on at LSUA, is talking to people, talking to businesses, talking to government. What do you need to help make sure that you have the best organization that you can have? And those are the degrees we offer. We want to make sure there's a job waiting for any graduate that walks across the stage. And that's what we've done. And the career opportunities, we have a career development center. Beth Palmer runs that for us. And she's done a really good job of having job fairs and connecting and having internships for the students that actually, while they're in school, they can go to a paid internship and get on the job training. And most of the time, those companies are going to offer them a job because it's already established relationship and they've proven themselves in the internship.
Love that. So with these degrees, I think I read you can also go through both of these programs online.
They're going to be online and on campus.
Nice.
And that's what we try to do, is offer both in the classroom, face-to-face experience as well as an online. The great thing about online, a lot of people are working and have children, and this gives them the opportunity to not have to come to campus and still get their degree. And that's really been a popular program to offer that mode of study where you don't have to come to the campus.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned a second ago that when your students walk across the stage, you're hoping they walk off that stage with a job. And you've got some record graduation numbers coming up, I believe.
Yeah, we've been breaking records for about 9 semesters in a row. And People probably say, I keep hearing y'all breaking records, but it really takes your breath away when you think about breaking a record on the number of graduates, because that's really the product you're trying to produce as a university. Workforce development is the business we're in. We're going to have over 600 graduates in the spring. That's 600 people with a degree ready to go to work and ready to help our community be a better place to live. So that's where we see the return on investment as a public institution, the return on investment for the tuition that parents and students have paid. And you really see the community grow when you see these young people be able to go and start a career here in Central Louisiana. I've said this before in this program, I'll say it again. We've had too many of our students graduate after we've probably supported them through TOPS and go to Texas. So what did you get a return on your investment? You got virtually nothing. So now if we can really make sure they have a job here and stay in the community, it'll help our population decline. It'll help us grow the population in Central Louisiana. And that universities can be a big part of economic development. And that's what we want to do at LSUA.
One of the things that really impressed me was at a recent basketball doubleheader, they recognized all the student athletes who had like a 3.0 and above. And they actually had to extend the time between the games because it took so much time to recognize the huge number of student athletes that are on the dean's list, on the honor roll, that are high achieving students. Very impressive.
Yeah, you hear a lot about athletes struggling and maybe not having the academic achievement that you want. That's not the case at LSUA. We did have the highest GPA of all the schools in the Red River Athletic Conference, and we were awarded that last year. We're so proud of that. But they also win on the court or in the field. And speaking of athletics, this weekend, we have the conference championship and in the Coliseum, Rapides Coliseum. And we'll have teams coming from all over the region, all over the South, Texas and New Mexico and Louisiana. Hopefully fill hotel rooms and people are going to eat in restaurants. That really helps the economy. But really the competition is amazing. We won the conference already, our men's basketball, and the women are seeded number 3.
Right.
So they're in the conference championship as well. And I tell you, if you want to have some fun and really see some amazing athletes, come to this conference championship at the Coliseum, because we have all-American quality players. Coach Jackson has done a fantastic job. Billy Perkins. They really have brought out the talent of these teams, and they've won quite a few games. I think we've only lost 2 games in the whole. I think we're 24-2, the best record of the whole conference. And we did win the championship, and hopefully they'll compete well. When you win the championship for the regular season, you already have, a slot in the NAIA championship. So we're going to the playoffs, regardless of what happens at the conference this weekend. But I'd love to win that conference championship too. That's what we did last year. We won both.
Well, and there's double reason for people to go because the LCU teams, both
well, yeah,
men and
LCU
women,
in the
have
conference, and it's a great competition.
Absolutely.
And we love when we play LCU because it's the community kind of coming together to compete, across river conference, competition. And we have a trophy that we kind of rotate. LSUA's held it this first year, and we've already won enough games where we're going to hold it again the second year, by the way. So I have it in my office too. I look at it every day.
Well, the LSUA men play at 1:15 on Friday afternoon, and then they're playing Houston Tillotson, and then the women are playing at 6:30. And interestingly, LSUA is playing LCU for the first game at 6:30 on Friday. So I hope the Coliseum is packed.
Yeah,
out.
we need to pack the house, and everybody needs to come and really scream and holler and have a good time. And we really have 2 good conference members here from the region. And we really love to have our community of Pineville and Alexandria kind of coming together.
Absolutely. Now, basketball is not the only sport going on right now. So do you want to give us any updates? I know baseball's just kicked off. And
yeah, baseball's done real well. They swept LCU last weekend, won all 3 games. We have a really fantastic baseball. The softball ladies are ranked 21 in the country.
Nice.
And they're winning quite a few games. They have a record number of home runs, a record number of base hits, and they've done a fantastic job so far this season. So that's cranking up and really becoming competitive. And that's a lot of fun, too, to watch our baseball team and our softball team compete. And the tennis team is starting to work as well. And we have a fantastic tennis team at LSUA. They've been in the semifinals nationally on a couple of occasions. And we really are fortunate to have tremendous athletes that come, and they want to get a degree, and they aren't going to be in professional athletics, so they're there for an academic degree. But boy, they give us a lot of good competition and a lot of fun while they compete.
Interestingly, your athletics has been a gateway into international students. I've seen quite a few international students. I know at least on the basketball and in the tennis. I don't know about the other teams, but I quite a few international students there.
One of our most competitive basketball players is from Italy.
That's right.
The women.
Benedetta Paracchi, Benny as we call her.
Benny as we call her. And, she's a fantastic young lady.
Phenomenal young lady. Absolutely.
And her mom and dad have come a couple of times to the campus. And in fact, they'll text me every so often and ask me how things are going. Wonderful people. But yeah, we have about 70 international students at LSUA. And probably 50 are athletes.
Isn't that something?
But we have 20, that are not athletes. They're just there because they want to be at LSUA. And wonderful students. Usually they have a real high academic achievement. And they're very good athletes, as you can imagine. I know the tennis team, we have quite a few international students. And soccer is where most of our international students have come from. But the basketball teams have dominated, being Louisiana or surrounding states.
Well, I picked at Benny one day because we were playing another team, I forget which, and they had a player from Italy. I'm like, you guys can't be talking to each other, okay? Both of you from Italy. Don't be talking Italian around us.
What's funny is Benny's boyfriend is a Venezuelan.
Oh.
And they're just a great couple to visit with. But we really have been fortunate to have outstanding international students. And it adds to the quality of the education. You learn about other countries, the culture of other countries, and our students are better students because of the international students.
Absolutely. Well, let's do this. Let's take our first break of this hour. And when we come back, we're going to hear about how all this growth is impacting the infrastructure of the university and get an update on some of their projects.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
The clinics welcome Dr. Noah Miller, family medicine physician, to our team. Dr. Miller from Vadrine, Louisiana, is now accepting new patients. Call today to schedule your appointment. The clinics offers a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, urgent and acute care with on-site lab and x-ray. Same-day appointments are available, and we accept most insurance and Medicare. Experience exceptional care at the clinics, 1587 North Bolton. Call 445-9823 or look us up online at theclinics.us.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
What are you doing out there? I saw you at the game the other night. Yeah, you up there getting mad, acting like we're all out there making $1 million a game. But let me be real with you. This isn't the pros. It's school sports, and it's a game, our game. So please, let us play.
All sports fans remember, when you cheer for your team, make noise for the right reasons. This message presented by the NFHS and the NIAAA.
And all student athletes in Louisiana.
We're Sinlaw Broadcasting, local radio doing local public service.
The North Rapids Business and Industry Alliance is a grassroots organization composed of citizens and business leaders committed to the growth and betterment of our community through the sharing of talents and the ideas of individuals and businesses. They also work and support other groups in our region, but specifically focuses upon North Rapids Parish. Learn more about the North Rapids Business and Industry Alliance on Facebook.
This has been a public service reminder from Sinlaw Broadcasting.
Sinlaw Broadcasting is local, so we promote the local.
Beneath a canopy of mighty oaks, towering cypress trees, and colorful bamboo, discover over 500 remarkable animals from all over the world. The Alexandria Zoo is the area's largest year-round family attraction. Come explore a natural world filled with hoots, howls, and roars right here in the heart of Central Louisiana. Learn more about it or volunteer at thealexandriazoo.com.
This has been a public service reminder from Cinela Broadcasting.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talkline at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM. KSYL. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talkback.
And we're back. Sandra McQueen, Nathan Martin. Joining us in the studio is Dr. Paul Corriel, Chancellor of LSU of Alexandria. So in our previous segment, we were talking about all the growth. We're hitting 7,000 in attendance, 600 graduates, but that puts a real strain on the campus physical structure. So give us an update. I know you're looking at housing. We've got the Student Success Center underway. So catch us up.
The Success Center is going really well. The Martin Student Success Center, I guess we're about 2/3 complete. The rain has slowed things down a little bit, but they have a roof now, so they're working inside. So that's really progressing. It's going to be a beautiful building. The curbside appeal of that new building is going to be fantastic. We also have a new tower we're building at the entrance of the campus. Really going to be nice. It'll also have tremendous curbside appeal. The exciting thing that happened Friday is our LSU Board of Supervisors unanimously approved a public-private partnership with Durang Construction here locally, and they're going to build 170 apartments for our students. We've had a waiting list now for 3 years. So we actually lost some of the students that wanted to live on campus and have that full campus life. So we have to address that if we're going to continue to grow. So they're ready to start these apartments pretty quickly. There's a couple of more hurdles to jump, but it's in all likelihood it will happen, and they're going to begin building in the next probably 60 to 90 days. It'll be where the old golf course was. We're going to close the golf course. The golf course has not been a big attraction for students. We actually subsidize the golf course. So we're going to use that in our growth area. We need that 45 acres to grow.
So what's the last day to play golf? Is it all right?
I'll tell you that next month.
Okay.
It'll
I
be
still
open.
see them out there.
It'll be there for a while.
I need to get out there for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the last round. But 170 apartments, 350 beds. We have a waiting list of 150 students already. So they're going to fill that place up. And we're excited about that because it will help us in our growth as a four-year university here in Central Louisiana. And we have to do that. The other project, as you know, is the Downtown Health Education Campus. That is really moving forward as well. Our ranking under the Board of Regents for capital improvement projects has moved from 26th to 6th. So we're pretty close to being assured the funding for that project will be approved, hopefully this session of the legislature. And that'll be an exciting next step for our nursing and allied health programs where we have a major shortage in the workforce. And we're going to have the state-of-the-art training facility for nurses and allied health professionals, really going to shine for Central Louisiana and help us. We hope to double the number of nursing graduates so that our 3 hospitals and the surrounding parish hospitals are not keeping wings of the hospital closed, which has happened, which is really, to me, unacceptable. I mean, they have to do what they have to do because they don't have the employees, but we have to do what we need to be doing, and that's train more nurses so they don't have that issue of closing these areas. So LSUA is really excited about getting the support from the legislature, from the governor's office for these projects. They're crucial to the future. They're crucial for the growth of the community. And this apartment complex really is a big step. It's going to be life-changing for LSUA. And we hope there'll be other retail businesses that'll want to be attracted to the corner as well. We call it our Campus Edge initiative, where we can have a little community there where our students and our faculty can feel like they're at home. They already feel that way, but now it'll be even better because they'll have some of the amenities they need while they're on campus and while they're living on campus.
Now, will the apartments be part of your student housing office, or will these be separate? You do it independently?
It's a public-private. They're going to run it as a private apartment complex, but with preferences given to our students. We're also going to have campus security, providing the security for it. Well, it'll be a gated community as well, so it's going to be extremely safe, but it will be run by the apartment developers.
Very nice. No, that's going to be great and very needed if you're going to continue to grow. And that, you know, when students are able to afford it and can take advantage of living on campus and sort of maturing those 4 years as well as getting a great education, I think it's a great part of their development.
Well, if you think about it, I don't know the exact number, but that's going to be about a $40 million investment on campus by a private company. The downtown project is a $43 million investment. The Martin Student Success Center is about a $16 million investment. You start adding those numbers up, you add over $100 million. And that's putting people to work. It's adding student capabilities for our campus. And it's really the economic development we're hoping to see for a thriving, university and a thriving community. So I can tell you, I take a lot of pride in seeing that investment and seeing our legislative delegation responding to this growth we've had and helping us continue to grow and be a leader, in the state of Louisiana.
Absolutely. Well, anything else? I know we're coming into our final minute or two here, but anything we didn't cover with you this morning that you wanted to touch on?
Well, I will say this in terms of housing, and it's just in the discussions phase, but we do have an aviation program, and we have over 60 students, studying professional aviation. We're hoping to look into the possibility of housing at England Authority so that our students would be much closer to that career choice they've taken. Very exciting. We're doing a survey now of our students, how many would be interested. There is some housing at England Authority, England Air Park that is now, vacant. It would take some remodeling. We'd have to find, a way to upgrade them and make them livable. But it's an exciting opportunity, and I'm pretty excited. That's another big project that's kind of emerging. We're talking to the airport administration right now, but it's something that I think would really add to our recruitment of aviation students if you had housing.
On the airport.
At the airport.
Wow.
You're going to be a pilot. You're going to live at the airport. We have the simulator there already. They can get internships. Several of them are working at Millionaire right now. So it really is the full package, if you will. And it's another growth opportunity for LSUA. So stay tuned for that.
Great.
Where do I sign up?
Exactly. Well, Dr. Corriel, thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning, and congrats on your ranking and all the wonderful things happening for you and your team at LSUA, and we'll see you next month.
Thank y'all so much for helping us.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Home price gains picked up again in December as pent-up buyer demand drove competition for a limited supply of listings. The S&P CoreLogic Index showed a national gauge of prices up 3.9% from a year earlier. Home Depot says a key sales metric will turn positive for the year, a sign consumers are looking to spend more on expensive items, but how much those sales are expected to go up missed what Wall Street was looking for. The latest quarter showed signs of improvement. Home Depot's sales turned positive, ending a negative streak that ran for 8 quarters. The Joann chain of fabric and craft stores is shutting down. A group of lenders, along with the liquidation firm, have taken control, and they plan to close all of the Joann stores. Futures have been mixed this morning. Yesterday was a mostly lower close to start the week on Wall Street. The NASDAQ took the biggest hit, falling 237 points. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's take a look at my husband Tom's favorite shirt. This is a ketchup thing. We got soy sauce over here, mustard here, Tabasco, chocolate syrup. I'm not worried. I'll just take it to Craig.
At Craig's Cleaners, tough stains are no problem. Finicky, hard, clean fabrics are no problem either. Wow, honey, great job on my shirt. Now, what's for supper?
Just dependable professional dry cleaning. Craig's Cleaners, 1746 Elliott Street, 1305 Metro Drive, or Highway 28 East at the Pineville Expressway.
In Sinlaw, keeping your lawn looking great can be a real challenge. And that's why folks have been choosing our locally owned and operated company, Promo Fencing and Lawn Care. Promo can also be your local choice for fence installation and new landscape installs. They're real pros about it too, offering free estimates and financing for those bigger jobs, residential or commercial. Bring your vision to life with Promo Fencing and Lawn Care. Call 318-452-6265.
Junior Achievement is where dreams take flight. We are helping students connect what they learn in school to life outside the classroom as adults, be it work and career readiness, money management, or starting a business. However, we can't do it alone. Go to ja.org to learn more.
Good morning. Widespread fog to start us out this morning. That'll burn off by about 8 or 9, and it looks like a nice day. Partly sunny skies to start out, and then becoming sunny in the afternoon. Afternoon highs near 71. Now tonight, that fog rolls in again after midnight. Otherwise, pretty much clear skies down to 45 for the overnight low. And then Wednesday, a nice day, sunshine, the high 73. From the Zenlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, that's your forecast. I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 44 degrees in Zenlaw.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK 70 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
And we're back. That was great, wonderful. Congratulations to LSUA and all that they're achieving. And then I think if I understood, there may be some announcements forthcoming on LCU's new leadership as well.
Yeah, my understanding is there's a press conference today, and they'll let us know the board is meeting, has met. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button. I was trying to pull that up. I thought they had it on the front page of their website about the announcement, but that we will know hopefully by tomorrow. Well, here it is. It says LCU is to make an announcement regarding the next university president on Tuesday at 12:45 in the Granbury Conference Center. So that's going to take place today. The Board of Trustees Search Committee will speak and answer questions about the announcement. Media is encouraged to attend. And so, yeah, today at 12:45, we'll know something. Have something to talk about.
So do we know that they've got a selection, or they're going to answer questions because the process is continuing? We don't know, I guess.
I was under the impression that they were going to announce it today.
Okay.
That the president's name would be announced, because that's the way I understood it. But that's not final word. That's just the way I understood that.
Excellent.
And
well,
if anybody
I know.
knows, let us know.
Well, and I'll applaud that board for being very methodical and taking their time.
Mm-hmm.
It's an important decision where the university is at this stage, and so I, really appreciate the thoughtfulness that went into running the process.
I want to give them kudos for the openness and transparency on the front end. They went all around the state, met with constituent groups, alumni groups, and took hard questions about the process, about the past, about the name change, about all the stuff that was going on, and then committed themselves to making the best choice. And then they've been tight-lipped. I haven't heard. I've heard rumors of names, and the last I'd heard was that the final three choices, any one of them would have been excellent. And so I think people are going to be pleased from, but I don't know. I have no inside information. I'm kudos to them. And I really do look forward to finding out who it is.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for that. And maybe we can get them in here later in the week or early next week to kind of talk us through everything. But excited for the university, and especially for the faculty and staff. It's and I know Dr. Jeffries has done a phenomenal job in this interim role. And but I know everybody, and probably including Dr. Jeffries, are ready to sort of have that leader identified and start moving forward with plans.
I've come to admire him a lot through this process. I told him at one point I wish he'd thrown his name in there, and he's like, no, that's not my calling. But he's been a steady hand at the helm. He's attended all the events. He's been incredibly supportive of the students and the faculty and staff. And so I just kudos to him, and he'll be a great asset to whoever the next president is, because there's no political agenda there. There's no, he wouldn't, didn't lose the run for it or whatever. So I think he'll be a great asset. And we want to see great success there. Just like we were talking with Dr. Corriel off the air, he wants to see LCU succeed. There can be friendly competition, especially on the basketball court, the baseball diamond, things like that. But generally speaking, the success can be broad and it can help all groups. And so, what would happen if Central Louisiana got to be known as an economic or an educational hub?
And I think it really is. I mean, that was one of the things I know when we moved here in 2013 that I was floored were that you had 3 four-year universities in LSUA, LCU, and Northwestern. And then you had this very vibrant community college. And I was very impressed that a community this size had access to that level of higher education, which surprised me, especially coming from Nevada, where you have a much, sparse, spread out population because of the mountains and the deserts. And you pretty much had UNR and UNLV. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really interesting. And having grown up in Nashville, which they call the Athens of the South, where you had a higher education facility on every street corner, it seemed like there, from Vanderbilt down to all of the Christian colleges. I mean, you had so much there to offer. I was really surprised, though, a community this size had that amount of higher education opportunities, and thought that was one of the things that attracted us here.
Yeah, that's great.
Was that, there must be something going on for a community to be able to support 3 universities and a very vibrant college.
And geography certainly is a part of it when you're the crossroads and it's kind of the trading post, but there's something positive, something so good going on in, even the Rapides Parish schools to be the tip of the spear for the state as far as a leading district in the state, which has leapfrogged from like 49th to 37th or whatever that number is. I mean, just huge strides forward. I did find a note that the Board of Trustees is meeting this morning. The name will be presented today. So I really think that's what's going to happen.
They're going to
vote and announce.
Yeah, finalize I'm sure they've already pretty much finalized the contract. I'm sure it just has to be ratified, and then the announcement will be forthcoming. And very, very exciting times for the for the college. Excuse me. So why don't we take our next break, and when we come back, I know we had some calls before our guests came in. We can pick back up our conversation on Doge or whatever direction you, the listeners, would like to go.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Your teeth are in need of a little dental work, but you're putting it off. Why? Could it be you can't stand the thought of wearing old-timey adhesive-filled dentures? Is it the high cost of dental implants? Or is it just the concept of having a dentist poking around inside your mouth? Whatever your reason, today's Dental in Pineville has it covered. And with hundreds of smiling, satisfied patients, they've made getting implants amazingly simple, low anxiety, and affordable for everyone. And with calming in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, your anxiety will all but slip away. Plus, their multiple finance options make implants truly affordable. So why wait? If you're looking to replace your old-timey denture with permanent implants, give Today's Dental on Highway 28 East in Pineville a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
Have a Class A or B CDL? Want to drive a local route every day? If you said yes, then you're who we're looking for. Waste Connections of Alexandria, Natchitoches, and Lafayette is hiring drivers with CDL license. You'll get competitive wages, paid vacations, a company stock program, a 401k with company match, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, and a local route with you at home with your family every night. Apply now at wasteconnections.com/employment. That's wasteconnections.com.
We're Sinlaw Broadcasting, local radio doing local public service.
Near the end of the Civil War, 2 forts were built in Pineville to guard the Red River. Today, the Forts Randolph and Bulow State Historic Sites offers visitors an amazing glimpse back to that time. The site contains the remains of 2 old forts, a beautiful visitor center, a scenic overlook on the Red River, and a series of impressive elevated boardwalks. Learn more at Forts Randolph and Bulow State Historic Site on Facebook.
This has been a public service reminder from Sinlaw Broadcasting.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
Shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when it's all a thing of the past,
You couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Freedom from drug addiction happens in NA meetings. It is possible to stop using drugs, and they can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
And we're back.
So I got some intel, just saw right now, a little message sent to me that the new president will be actually introduced at chapel at 11 o'clock.
Wow.
So if you really want to know, go to chapel.
Go to church. All right.
Go to church. That's right. And I love the way this person wrote. They said they were told that they will announce the new man during chapel service, and then they wrote person. And I'm thinking, is that a hint? Because the new man, let me clarify, the new person. I don't know if that they're clarifying it because they know we try to be, good in our language, or maybe that's a hint of the new. I don't know. So we'll see. 11 o'clock, the chapel service, and then 12:45 the announcement therefore.
So I suspect watch your Facebook post by 11:05. We may know who the new president
Whoever's sitting
is
on the front row
for the press conference. But again, great, be an exciting day for LCU for sure. So before our guest came in, we were talking a little bit about Doge and will they achieve the savings? We had Dave call in and say, beyond just the amount of money, does it sort of start to change the paradigm and the conversation about how our tax dollars are spent? Maybe, he kind of mentioned, will it create more efficiency? And I'd love, I know he's going to be on with you later in the week, would love to hear how we think this may drive more efficiency in government. I haven't figured out what that process is going to look like, because as long as Congress and politics play a role in this, the ability to make government efficient, I think, is going to really be a challenge. And I mean, a great example is in our show prep today. One of the headlines was, "Don't mess with the medical device lobbyists." And they were talking about all those people who got fired last week from the Food and Drug Administration. Well, most of them are back. The majority of the staffers returning to work are the ones responsible for reviewing medical devices and a few food safety folks. Lobbyists for the device industry said those cuts hurt companies and patients, and not to mention how many hundreds of dollars a year they pay the FDA to hire these extra scientists to get these products through the approval process. So the minute the politics start coming into play, those efficiencies start getting thinner and thinner. So I think that's, that hasn't really come into play yet. And again, if, you think about if Elon said, okay, one of my military strategies is we've got to go through another round of BRAC. Well, can you imagine what, and that may be a good conversation to have, a good exercise to go through. Can you imagine the politics of talking about closing bases?
I can imagine.
Yeah. And so I think, this is going to get harder and harder to really effectuate change. But I agree with Dave's point. At least we're starting to have a conversation we weren't having 4 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, probably since, you go back to Clinton and Gore, who talked about reinventing, I think it was reinventing government is how they phrased it, and had limited success with that. But we really haven't had that conversation in decades.
No, and someone made the comment that it's almost like we've just gotten accustomed to this just waste and fraud and abuse. We're just accustomed to it. And so this is now peeling back that layer and saying, no, we don't want to be accustomed to it anymore. And Dave was right, or I think it was Dave that he talked about, the different videos on Facebook and Twitter of people video themselves having, talking about the losing their jobs. Or I saw one video of a young lady, she had been working for the IRS for 6 months or 5 months, and she had to go in and turn in her devices and all that stuff. And she said, and I had to go in on a day that wasn't my in-office day. Wait, what? And that was the complaint. So I'll tell you, a sobering website is debtclock.org.
Oh.
Have you seen that one? I'm sure you have.
I'm aware of it, but yes.
It's
we're
scary.
Just
It's just exactly.
tick,
I mean,
yeah.
the numbers and that's where I think our other caller gets his numbers from. The amount of debt per U.S. taxpayer is $327,000 per citizen is $100,000. But they have, I don't know where they get all this information, but they have, even world debt. Every nation in the world has tremendous debt. America has the highest, China, then Germany, then Japan, then India. I guess my question is, who do we all owe? Do we owe each other? I mean, is it like a big Ponzi scheme? Or is it Warren Buffett? We all owe him and Soros. Is that who we owe?
That's where I need a really great economist to come in here and break all that down. That is well over my skill set and
We
knowledge.
talk about how much we owe China, but China has the second largest national debt in the world. So who do they owe their money to, right? I mean, it's like this swirling money that everybody owes everybody.
Absolutely. Well, let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning. Enjoy the show. I missed the rankings of the Chancellor out of LSUA. Where's the website that you pull that up from? I couldn't understand y'all on the radio.
Yes, it's called niche.com. So NICHE.com. And they rank different colleges all across the country. You can do it by degree, by state. And so LSUA is ranked 4th. They are behind LSU, Louisiana Tech, and Tulane.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much. I enjoy the show.
Yes, thank you for calling. And we'll take another call. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, yesterday I was on the Fox News website. They had this former Navy nuclear engineer, and he was applauding the most delving into the Department of Defense. He said when he was in the Navy, he said they bought these ruggedized HDMI cables. They paid $10,000 for these cables. He said they could have bought the same thing at Best Buy for $20 to $30.
You're right. That's what most of us think has been going on. We talked about the $10,000 hammer and all those kinds of crazy expenditures. And I think that's what's going on. I'm looking at the article right now. The guy you're talking about, Steve Simone, says it's no surprise that they're looking at the Pentagon next because that's where it's going to be found.
Hey, can I say something about crypto?
Sure.
Please.
I got an article I printed out Sunday. They had this cryptocurrency exchange Bybit has been hacked for over $1.4 billion in liquid state Ether. It's just a wild west of crypto. I don't know. The article goes on to say the incident follows several high-profile hacks of security incidents throughout 2024 and early 2025 that left crypto exchanges drained of funds. I mean, it's a wild west. I'm leery of it. They said it's a script called the Lazarus script. It's behind a lot of these hacks, these Bitcoin exchanges, and they're going in there and stealing the Bitcoin, the Lazarus script. Anyway, it's backed by North Korea are the ones that are doing it, the bad actors.
That's right.
So anyway, I guess you invest in crypto at your if you want to. I'm leery of it myself.
Well, we had a guest here last week, Chris Verswivel, who came in and talked to us about it, and he's been doing full-time trading for the last 2 years. He said this is not a good time to invest in crypto. He even said that, and he's not selling anything or buying anything. He was just giving his personal experiences and insights. And he said, a couple of years ago, he thought it was a good time. It was more of that bull market. But right now, he thinks things are plateauing and there's going to be some drops. And this is not a good time. He's holding, but he's not. I don't think he's investing new money into it. My total investment was $100. I made this like I'm going to pay $100 tuition to learn, and my $100 is now worth $41.42 as of right now. So I learned my lesson. I'm not putting all of my stuff over there.
Fidelity has a ETF investment, so I don't know. I'm thinking my IRA is with Fidelity. I might put a little money into it.
Well, somebody that knows for sure, and don't talk to Nathan. Nathan don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our last break.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Looking for the perfect place to host your next event? Community Center at England Air Park can make your special occasion memorable. Reserve the Community Center at England Air Park for your next wedding, reunion, or corporate function. The possibilities are endless with our column-free main room and spacious outdoor patio. Have a favorite caterer, decorator, or band? The choice is yours. For information regarding cost, rental agreements, and event planning, visit englandairpark.org.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Sinla's best at Bricato's restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's restaurant. 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Your local radio company is Sinla Broadcasting. We're all about local.
The Junior League of Alexandria is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving communities through the effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. Our Junior League awards scholarships to girls, grants to nonprofit organizations, and has operated the New to You thrift shop since the 1940s. Learn more at jlalexandria.com.
This has been a public service reminder from Sinla Broadcasting.
If you're a woman, talk to your doctor by age 25 about your risk of getting breast cancer. More women under 40 are getting breast cancer, and these cancers are often more deadly. The American College of Radiology recommends you ask your doctor if you should get a mammogram before age 40, need other tests like an MRI with your yearly mammogram, or if at high risk should be checked more than once a year. For more information, visit mammographysaveslives.org.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
I answered the call, and even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine, still serving those around me, my country, and my community. That is Semper Fidelis. Always faithful, always Marine.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM. KSYO.
And we're back. That was a short return music there. All right. Well, thank you to all our callers. Always a good conversation on Doge as we watch sort of what's happening in our nation's capital right now. Let's see. Just I guess as we're wrapping up the show for today, very interesting article in the Wall Street Journal that caught my attention this morning in the headlines. It's an opinion piece called "Another Reason to Move to Florida," with a question mark. And basically they say in reference to Ron DeSantis, Florida man is at it again with an intriguing message that can make the Sunshine State even more alluring to blue state residents currently suffering in high tax locales. Responding to a question on X about the possibility of abolishing property taxes in Florida, the governor wrote, "Property taxes are local, not state, so we need to do a constitutional amendment or even to eliminate them or even to reform or lower them. We should put the boldest amendment on the ballot that has a chance of getting that 60% voter approval. I agree that taxing land property is the more oppressive and ineffective form of taxation."
Wow.
And of course, they're like, well, what would be the alternative? You know, you might have to look at higher sales taxes, but they're going to start, their legislature will convene starting next week, and they're looking at putting a bill on the ballot.
Interesting.
Or an amendment on the ballot.
A lot of countries have a value-added tax, a VAT.
Yeah,
Mexico,
which is sales tax.
Right, it's what it is. Mexico has a 16%.
Yeah.
But they also have a huge cash economy that avoids that. And so they always ask you, do you want a receipt for this? Because if you don't want a receipt, you just save 16%. If you want a receipt, your price went up 16%. And that, I think, would happen if you start looking at nationwide, higher sales tax. We're already at 10% here in Louisiana, so it'd be tough to go higher. But here's an interesting post on Twitter from yesterday. The VA Secretary, Doug Collins, listed his 5 things that he did last week. And he posted, he said, number 1, we identified hundreds of wasteful contracts for cancellation that will allow us to redirect billions back to veteran health care and benefits. Number 2, we reached 1 million disability claims processed for fiscal year 25 on February 20th. Get that, 1 million disability claims. Now, fiscal year starts in October, I believe. Today, we welcome thousands of employees across the nation back to the office as part of our return to in-person work policy. We launched a review of the VA's community care practices so we can maximize veterans' health care choices, and met with members and leaders of the veteran service organizations, including Indy Fund and Dave HQs. I just thought it was interesting. He goes on to say, under POTUS, the Department of Veteran Affairs is putting veterans first, and there will be many more successes moving forward. So that was a, nice little balance there, and talking about saving billions of dollars and putting them back into actual frontline health care for our veterans, which I think is wonderful. And if you do that kind of stuff, I don't think we'll be talking about closing the VA, Alexandria VA, located in Pineville.
No, I wouldn't either. And, I've always been a big believer, especially if you serve in a combat situation.
Absolutely.
That ought to come with health care for life. And I don't care if you want Botox or, hair implants. If you serve this nation in a combat role, you ought to have health care, no question asked.
Now I'm going to draw the line on optional, Botox hair care. But I think
you put your life on the line. I think that's the least we can do.
Okay. Well, we finally found something we disagreed on.
There we go. Well, have a great day. Tomorrow it is Nathan and Trish.
That's right.
And I'll be back on Friday with Dustin Matthews, and Thursday it will be Nathan and Dave Dagrapont. Have a great day.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers.